Lana Slater got the boot from government, and I think it's a bit sad, really. Personally, it depends. I'm a hypocritical green or a soft green, I suppose you would call me. A social justice thing. I've get a bit carried away totally. Um, but on green issues, I think green should be a carrot thing rather than a stick thing. And um, I think you could persuade people. I mean, households that have got over 30,000 and are wanting a new car should buy electric. I don't think that's the case at the moment, and that's probably true even for the green vote and school run mums that have SUVs, and vote green. But anyway, on to this sort of shenanigans stuff. I was planning on making a video. Will Nicola Sturgeon join the Greens? Because to me personally, I think she would like to, and I think that's how she sees herself as a Green, really. But she's sort of stuck with the SNP now, really, isn't she? Really, just visually, sort of not to. But it wouldn't surprise me if someday she does switch to the Greens, especially now what's happened with Humza, because Thingy was right. Nicola it was her who brought the Greens in, I mean, SNP are like 2 away from a majority, and they brought in 3 Greens, 4 Greens, I think it's 5 actually, and gave them 2 cabinet positions, So, yeah, I don't know, this could really backfire on Humza, I think. I mean, they're talking now, there's a vote of confidence next week. He could lose that if the Greens vote against him. That means the SNP government falls, really, I think. And then people are talking about Humza. Probably SNP will want rid of them now because a lot of them will be Greenies. I think so myself, really. I would imagine the vast majority of them, the MSPs and the MPs, will be sort of Greens, closet Greens, really. So, yeah, people are saying, I'm just looking at news now to look at the headline titles across. Yeah, and so I was going to go on about how I thought Nicola Sturgeon would maybe join the Greens, and I see that Kate Forbes and Thingy Ewing, they've been on TV saying they fully support him leaving the Greens, but I don't think the SNP politicians feel the same way, and I'm not even sure that the voters do. I think most of them are probably hypocritical Greens or soft Greens like myself, and that sort of thing. As I say, anyone who's get 30k to spend on a car, or should be buying an electric one, not least because if they did, they wouldn't go back to petrol and diesel because they would suddenly realise this is better because it makes far less noise. In fact, it would make zero noise, but because of the EU and that, they've had to add noise to them, apparently so that you don't knock pedestrians down or whatever. But surely people who are a bit blind or whatever, surely there's sort of sensors they could use nowadays to warn them or whatever, rather than giving us noise pollution. It is ironic that they're giving us noise pollution. The Greens are giving us noise pollution, or the EU, the nice EU. And Britain's having to do it because the EU is such a big car market, but and probably because they want to as well. Yeah, I'm just looking at the headlines here. Yeah, I think he's not thought this through at all, really. Humza Yousaf, he's only been in thingy for over a year. I mean, I find him competent in that, and I find him, I think he's really aggressive in that, but I've still got doubts about him. And in general, the way Scotland West going, I think it's a mistake, and I think the people that will long term well, at some stage will come hysterical as women, really, once they see how the West is going to go now. I don't think it's going to work for anyone, the way things are going. So that's the overarching issue. And if you're worried about that and you vote SNP, Labour, Lib Dem, I think you need to start protest voting. You need to vote Tory or further right, really, or the Social Democrat Party. But they hardly sit anywhere. I think they're only putting 4 MPs forward in for Scotland at the general election. The Social Democrat Party. I would definitely look at their approach to the main issue. I heard the other night. I mean, I don't like George Galloway or that, but sometimes, some things I agree with him on, but some things it's so easy. It's the obvious thing to do, but other things he's saying that he might stand a candidate for his Workers' Party at every constituency. Well, he said 400 at the moment, 650 constituencies, but he feels he's going to make that. So I think that's going to make some dent to the Labour Party. That's a lot of these sort of Corbynista types, or the ones that have been chucked out of the Labour Party. They're going to probably go for that. So it's not just the Reform Party. The Tories are going to have a problem with. Keir Starmer probably thinks those are the 3 things that are going to help him. People voting Labour, I don't know why. People dumping the Tories for reform. But it looks like if the Workers' Party's at every constituency, then Keir's got a problem as well. And it wouldn't surprise me if he lost more of his voters to that than reform. Tories lose to reform. Maybe not. I mean, reform's a bit of a joke, but I would vote for them now anyway, just because of one issue. They're the furthest towards common sense, but they're nowhere near close enough. And I don't particularly like them. They're a sort of neocon thing. This is what I don't like, the party political system, because you have to stick with all their issues. It's party hampers, really. I really want to vote on issues. So we should build this Swiss electoral system where the proportional representation and quarterly referendums on issues. I'm just so jealous of them. They're the only ones that have got a true democracy, really, or the nearest. Because really, direct democracy is the not always. I like people being there, politicians being about it, and that sort of someone taking responsibility. But at the moment, they get far too much power, and we really need referendums and things. For a start, on the big issue, the existential issue of keeping us away from anarchy. On that, we should have had a referendum of, I don't know, 75 years ago, basically. So I don't know how this is going to play out for Humza. I really think he's, for a start, like Patrick Harvey and that they were saying that even just a few days ago, Humza was one of our biggest cheerleaders for the Butte House Agreement. And that's how it looked like to me as well. I thought there was no chance. So I'm very surprised that he's done this. It's as if he's doing something to try and be populist that goes against his own instinct, or his own beliefs. And Rishi started doing this, I feel, as well, like he dumped Green as well. And he's been doing things that I don't think he really believes either. On these things, starting up the North Sea oil again or whatever, I don't know. But I feel Humza's going against himself to try and be popular. But as Patrick Harvey says, that the people he's trying to please won't vote for him. Sort of on the right of the SNP or whatever, because everyone thinks of the SNP as a sort of a green party, really, a progressive party. So I think he's sort of going against himself here to try and be populist, but it's a mistake, really. And he may even be out next week, which is unbelievable, really, because if it wasn't for that, I don't think the next election in Scotland's till 2026, because then it used to be every 4 years, but Nicola Sturgeon made it every 5. But I'm guessing the whole Parliament agreed with her. It went to a vote and the whole Parliament agreed, including the Tories, you know. I'm against that. It should be every 3 years like they have in Australia. You know, 5 years is too long. As we're seeing, I mean, Nicola's not even there anymore, and we've still got 2 years to go to the next election, you know. Humza might be on next week. So let's see what people are saying in the news. Scotland's First Minister cancels event as he fights for his political survival. He certainly does. Stephen Flynn hints he will not launch leadership bid if Humza Yousaf resigns. Humza Yousaf cancels speech as he considers position as First Minister. Oh dear, and what's that? That's like half an hour ago. So he's now starting to wonder if he should go. I mean, he's really shot himself in the foot here. I don't think he's thought it through. Maybe he thought that the Greens wouldn't do a vote against him and a vote of confidence, but they said they will, because, you know, they're the ones that seem principled, because they were just about to ask their members, should they stay in the Butte House Agreement. I think Humza saw it as a way of beating them to it or whatever, you know, showing decisiveness, but instead he's made a mistake. There's a poll in the Herald, but okay, I'm not going to click on it. Scotland's zero carbon buildings minister sacked as SNP ends Green Coalition. That's just fiercely, I think that's later, Lorna later. Alex Salmond's party names price to save Humza Yousaf in confident vote. Yeah, this is the irony. It's Ash Reagan's apparently got the sort of kingmaker vote, you know, because she left the SNP and went to Alba. I mean, I think of her as just well, she's a bit crazy for the start, and just a opportunist, and now it might be her that saves Humza in the vote, you know, because he's going to now be a minority government, which the SNP have done a lot over the years until they won the whole lot in 2015 or whatever. But I don't know if it'll go the same way now. The Greens have said they'd vote against them, so Humza Yousaf cancels Glasgow speech despite allies saying he will come out fighting. I don't know. He's got to sell the rights to, and like I say, I think Nicola Sturgeon wants to join the Greens, basically, because really in the social issues and that, and well, probably everything. She probably sees herself more as a Green. And also we're seeing the sort of likes of Kate Forbes, which seems a bit, well, not centre right, but around about there. She's a bit, I think she seems a bit crazy to me, actually, you know. I'm not even a fan of Fergus Ewan really either. Yeah, I think they're all mixed up. As I say, anyway, there's one single issue that everyone should be voting on anyway, and it's to try and save the West from anarchy, but nobody's bothered about that. Yeah, so that was the thing I wanted to say. I'll see if there's anything else. Nobody's listening in. Doesn't matter. I think I get shadow banned as well, because most of my things are getting 0 views. I'm looking at news now. No, I don't really see anything there. Oh well. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that, and I can't think of anything else. Or do you want me to keep talking? Do you want me to keep umming and ahhing? Let's see. Yeah. I wonder what will happen. Maybe a lot of the SNP politicians will switch to the Greens or something, you know. So, but as I say, this is why I don't like the party system. It just seems it's collapsing naturally now because people are fed up being in. Because when you're in a party, you're in a broad spectrum. But really, if you don't agree with one side, the problem is we need to vote on issues rather than parties. So we're really voting personalities at the moment. So yeah, we've got an archaic political system. I think it will probably just go this way naturally, but I would prefer them to hurry it up. So yeah, that's all I've got to say just now. All right, cheerio.